fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You that chop line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What people do eat no money, what they at you, eat no at you. Covid money, miss away, eat the yellow rat you. Use the youth, them money, waste, and bust a man to statue. Say me like a catch you, but they got in a figure you. Take the spit of money, God and say that it's not you. One day the man above end up him, I got to too much. It in the kitchen, some fly well like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% free.
It burn me.
Garbage pile up the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me.
I see corruption cease.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out with each.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again.
We're in strange times in Jamaica. We're living in strange times. Strange times because interesting behavior is rewarded. So for example, if you're a police officer and you have ambition and you want to turn a senior superintendent of police, you think those who out there are face down bad man, the dog-hearted gunman, the man criminal, they would be rewarded with promotion. You think it's those who are investigating crime, putting tight cases together, and putting criminals behind bars would be rewarded. But it seems the fastest way to turn SSP is to work with a friendly media host for a few years, get transferred to the JCF, and you're catapulted from district constable to senior superintendent in a couple of years.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our job, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame. What a travesty. Calls for us to think and think deep.
Wagwan family, manners enough. Not respect. So we have Dr. Omar Davies expose Dr. Nigel Clark. Well, Dr. Omar Davies was on Portland Spice TV with his brother named Colin Bell. Very interesting interview. Because a lot of us don't know what go on, this Finsac stuff. It's hidden from a lot of us in the public. So unless the players them come out and talk about it, we are constantly in the dark. So this man was a former finance minister, Dr. Omar Davies. during that time would have handled the Finsac and seen it firsthand and created under him. There's a lot of stuff, people. I'm going to hear it right now without no long talking. We want to know what Nigel Clark hide. Who Nigel Clark is protecting. Why the Finsac archive is heavily redacted. If we want to learn from our mistakes so it not happen again, everything needs to out there. So all the scholars that you say you're going to give $10 million here and everywhere to study this, what them all look, what them all study? Give them all the facts. Give them everything. Nigel Clark. So these people can make the right decision, bro. You don't just give them part of it and think it's okay, Mr. Clark. Come on, Mr. Nigel Clark. The whole report, the Finsac report, remember, you know, both on my Facebook page and this YouTube page, the Labour them been asking about the Finsac report and talking about it and say, boy, when the Finsac report drop, or Bunting and Golding and Omar Davies, are just those names. But right now, to Omisi Aguan now, it seems as if the Finsac report kind of backfire for Nigel Clark, because it looked like saying he was giving the PNP a last lick. You know, a last lick before him go to the new job when I run with too. You understand me? So, you know, I understand when him go, I'm a finance minister. It just get pay raise. You know, prosperity. We are running from prosperity land I go. So we could listen, Omar Davies people. You will hear when Nigel Clark, like I'm a hide things, redacted documents. We can't see nothing. Or who you are trying to protect Nigel Clark, or who you are protect. So you will also hear where Omar expose him by letting us know that Nigel Clark need to release the damn thing. Where you hide? Who are you trying to protect? Let's go.
To Portland Spice TV, Styles FM and Caribbean Radio. In my estimation, the best finance minister Jamaica has ever had. Dr. Omar Davies. Dr. Davies, good morning and welcome.
Yeah, good morning. Good to be on the program. My first time.
It's a pleasure to have you. You know, I don't know if you remember, I had interviewed you a long time ago when you were vying for leadership at the party.
Oh, yes. Okay, I remember. Yes, a long time ago.
That's a long time ago. Yeah, man. So we've been at it for a very long time. Dr. Davies, I want to thank you for your service to this country, to this island of Jamaica. A lot of people don't realize that when you go into politics, it's a sacrifice. And when you were Minister of Finance, you never did get $22 million a year. Were you?
No, I've never earned that in my life.
And you never decided to take up a foreign job. Were you offered any foreign job?
Several times.
What?
Yes.
You were offered a foreign job by who, Dr. Davies?
The multilaterals, the different multilaterals.
So you're talking.
Matter of fact, I recall when the deputy managing director of the IBF was retired. I had a function for him, and he said, "Boy, you don't understand why all this fuss about him, because the people who do real work and should get commendation." And he named me, he named Mandela's finance minister, Trevor Manuel, and so. That sort of offer is a standard practice they use, you know, because if they're able to tap into the best from the third world or the developing world, it gives them an edge, and you can't accuse them of at least they think you can accuse them of bias. But yes, I was offered opportunities. Mostly, I'm for the World Bank.
So you could have gone if you had wanted to.
Well, I did that. I returned to Jamaica as from Stanford University. I returned to Jamaica when I was.
Hold on there, guys. When I hear good? Can you guys hear properly? More happy enough when I hear, you know. I've listened it before. So I'll share it with you guys. Can you hear good? Good. All right. Loud and clear. All right. Let's back up a little bit and continue driving.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because we are about educating the Jamaican people. We don't want to hide nothing from the labor right them. Because, no, for real, I am saying to JLP, you know, all.
Well, that sort of offer is a standard practice they use, you know, because if they're able to tap into the best from the third world or the developing world, it gives them an edge, and you can't accuse them of at least they think you can accuse them of bias. But yes, I was offered opportunities. Mostly, I'm for the World Bank.
So you could have gone if you had wanted to.
Well, I did that. I returned to Jamaica as from Stanford University. I returned to Jamaica when I just been promoted, etc. The truth is, I don't regard it as a major thing. It was and I don't judge anybody else, but it's a personal choice, and I couldn't see myself raising my children in that society.
Dr. Davies, let's look at the release of the Finsac archive. But before we look at the release, Dr. Davies, the banking sector, when the problem in the banking sector really started?
Well, I can't give you a definitive date, but the problem was that the practices were there, and let me just indicate that the granting of so many licenses brought people in who did not observe the basic rules of banking. And one of the things which we need to face honestly, how is it that none of the foreign controlled banks face the same problem? How is it that the credit unions all went through that same period without the collapse? And one reason is that there are clear rules governing the granting of assessment of loan application and the granting of loans.
Mm-hmm.
So what were you asked, when did it start? The trouble is that against the backdrop of shortage of foreign exchange, etc.
Those licenses that you mentioned that was granted, were they granted in the 80s?
To be truthful, some were granted then, but some were granted by before my time as Minister of Finance.
Right.
Some
was granted in the 80s and some in the 90s.
Right. And the difficulty is that persons were, I say, aware of these strange practices, but there was collaboration between some of these institutions to find ways of getting around the rules governing the financial sector. And that's one of the reasons which I've raised, and I will raise again today the question as to why Minister Clark does not publish the forensic audits.
Hold on there. Why Mr. Clark a hide? Anybody know? Why Mr. Clark does give a look a piece and publish the forensic audit? Why Mr. Clark a hide, people? Make we continue to listen. Because over these years, I've been listening to the labor right them using the Finsac debacle for votes and campaign trail. Me have labor rights also on my page, throw that in sometime. And me always tell them, say, sure, I want to hear the PNP they were in I too, because I want to beat them with me 2x4 too. Me always tell them that. But now, what we also learn from this interview is that people that are involved with SSL were involved with the Finsac era too. People in a SSL debacle was in a the Finsac debacle also. Let's continue to listen.
So that because those are some of the things that are okay. Those are some of the things. But how can you put forward the archives and you don't release the audits?
Well, that's one question. The question is who made the determination as to what should be kept back, and what were the reasons governing that decision?
Dr. David,
and it's yes.
When you got in office, when you became finance minister, and the problem came to you, what was your first reaction and what were the options available to you?
Well, the reaction was to meet with the principals involved and to find out did they agree with the assessment which the Bank of Jamaica presented, and if so, what steps would they be taking? And mainly, the most important would be to bring additional capital into the institution. And by and large, the answers were not reassuring. In certain instances, there was defiance on the part of some of the institution or the heads of the institutions. And at that stage, you recall that several of these heads were both CEO and chairman. And there's no more powerful job than an executive chairman, because you determine what goes to the board, and you as chairman, you'd have been instrumental in selecting the other board members. So it was like, I think they call themselves the chairman's club.
The chairman club.
Yes, because these were, and the names are all very familiar.
So were there no agency in place to oversee the regulation of these banks at the time?
Yes and no. The Bank of Jamaica was always there. The problem was that it had authority to deal with deposit-taking institutions, but several of these entities were in groups of company. And for example, the building society at the Bank of Jamaica did not have authority over the building society.
Oh,
so what was done in several instances, and the audits would show that. That's why the audit would show that you would move a bad loan granted by the bank into the building society, and then send it back as one which was, one which you could have on the books.
But that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Well, it is. It's called evergreening and so on. And there are several instances of that, not only within a specific group of companies, but between institutions. And that's why I said that it is really a pity that Mr. Clark has decided to redact those findings, because those findings are not. No one could accuse the findings that are also providing biased findings. Mm-hmm. These are findings carried out by internationally recognized institutions.
No.
I want Mr. Clark to hide. How much more bank account him a cover up? Who Mr. Clark a hide? Mr. Clark will promise us transparency, but we still wait for the FBI and the SSL report. Now Mr. Clark ready to take off. Want to the SSL report, Mr. Clark? You got to read that stuff too? You got to black out stuff too, Mr. Clark? Wow, let's continue to listen. What a shame.
Dr. Davies, a lot of people sometimes blame you for Finsac. The question I'm going to ask you now, had it not been Finsac, because based on our understanding that the banks had problems, there were a run on the bank, people going for the money and couldn't get the cash. If not Finsac, then what?
Well, it's one of those amazing developments, in the sense that Finsac was created to bring order to the whole process of trying to clean up the situation. But because by then all the owners and majority owners had taken flight, persons then saw Finsac as the entity which they should who should bring them relief. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the trials of might, and I suspect it's inevitable. They felt that the government should be the one. If you take over the bank, then you are responsible for this. So there's one person in my whole period who came to me, and I could even call his name.
People, I'll be right back after this short break. We could hear the one person.
I hear man talk all kind of lie. Oh, 20 million and 28 million. Lie. Me not take no salary increase. So my salary is what it was before. And I tell you something, I feel like just keep back to. Because he's a proud man, Me don't like people tell lie for me.
That is why we did something like the reverse tax credit. Never before in Jamaica's history, where the government is giving back to people who earn less than $3 million per year. Never before happened. That's a way in which we are making sure that the dividends of the good economic management reaches to the people. Yes, good economic management can yam.
Thank you, guys. Welcome back. Let's get on with this interview.
Sure. There's a videographer by the name of Walton, and he come and say, "Boy, if it wasn't for you," because people forget all the persons whose savings were protected, all the persons who had insurance policies which were protected. All of these people they were able to survive this turmoil simply because the government created Finsac and Finsac assumed responsibility for these liabilities.
But Dr. Davis, the view out there is that Finsac only destroy people. We have never heard about anybody who benefited from Finsac, who Finsac get back their money, who were able to continue because Finsac came in, sold assets and gave them back their money. We never hear about that.
Well, one I'm interested. I was talking with former Prime Minister Patterson recently about that. They said this is normal. The right thing had to be done, but don't hold your breath. Nobody's gonna come and publicly acknowledge this. That's why I gave you Walton's name, because he has come to me and said repeatedly. But it was that many persons have a simplistic view of what a bank does. They don't realize that a bank doesn't collect your money and lock it away, but it has to earn.
Right.
And to earn, you have to lend it and so on. And if you make bad decisions in lending it, then there will be nothing earned to pay by the depositors or the investors. And therein is a problem. Now, I don't know whether these owners and managers hope that over time the bad investments would turn good. But the fact is that if you consistently risk people's savings in bad investments, then it won't be long before the whole thing blows up. And I challenge anybody. I remember going to Alcoa to meet with the workers. And since I was the first person, I went with Lambert Brown because he represented the workers at Halsall. There was great hostility to me. And in a sense, after you get past the initial anger, you realize that it's a logical thing, because nobody else had showed up to speak about the issue.
Right.
But all these workers at all different entities whose pension funds had been managed by insurance companies, etc. They had a pension only because of the intervention of Finsac.
Dr. Davis, these chairmen and CEO and owners of these banks, why were they not taken to books, maybe charge or something for the wrongs that they did? Because nobody is looking at the owners and the managers and the chairman and the CEO of these banks. They seems to got off scotch-free.
Well, you are correct. But the reality is that these people have access to resources, and so they can hire the best defense, etc. But that's one of the reasons we went through a total revamping of the regulatory system. Because that's if there's anything good which came out, there's a revamping of the regulatory system, the creation of the FSC, the creation of the deposit insurance.
So those are institutions that you brought in.
Yes.
And I want to talk to you about those, Dr. Davis. But before I go there, one of my listeners, they are asking, most Jamaicans don't understand what Finsac is. Please explain, what is Finsac?
And on that note, guys, I'm going to a short break. I'll be right back.
We're in strange times in Jamaica. We're living in strange times. Strange times because interesting behavior is rewarded. So, for example, If you're a police officer and you have ambition and you want to turn a senior superintendent of police, you think those who out there are face down bad man, the dog-hearted gunman, the man criminal, they would be rewarded with promotion. You think it's those who are investigating crime, putting tight cases together, and putting criminals behind bars would be rewarded. But it seems the fastest way to turn SSP is to work with a friendly media host for a few years, get transferred to the GSCF, and you're catapulted from district constable to senior superintendent in a couple years.
Thank you guys for waiting. Let's go.
Okay. Well, it mainly was, but that was an institution which was established to take control of all the impaired assets, the bad loans, etc. Those financial institutions which had been badly managed, and they replaced the impaired assets. Impaired assets mean worthless, with government paper backed by the government of Jamaica, which then allowed the Finsac to generate resources to pay back out depositors to stand in there with the insurance companies. That's what Finsac was established for. But there are other things which it was charged with doing. One is to supervise the total overhaul of the supervision of the financial sector. But one of the things which you should note, is that you can put laws into place, but unless you're eternally vigilant, it is not difficult to see. I don't say it's possible to have anything as widespread as that which happened last time, but you can have instances, and here's one which shows you that unless you're vigilant and keep monitoring the activities of these institutions, it's easy to slip back into that period. And that's one of the reasons. One of the reasons I think it's imperative that the forensic audits be published, so you can see what can happen if you are not eternally vigilant.
So you're calling for the audits to be also uploaded in the archive?
Yes, yeah, without doubt. And well, two things I'm calling for: the explanation as to why it wasn't, because this was an integral part of the decision making. Those are so. Without doubt, you have to call for that. But there has to be an explanation, an explicit statement. These are the reasons we didn't do this. So who are you protecting in that process?
Exactly. Because if you...
Whoa, me mama. Who Nigel a protect? The man exposing backside. Me mama. La la lo lo lo. Yeah. Then about some other people, some revival people in Jamaica. Yeah. Hey, that wrap up and all that thing there. Yeah. Nigel Clark. Who you protect? You're gonna hear from this the man say, Omar Davies say, there are people who are involved with this SSL debacle. I come from Finsac. You look like I see people them again and again. Oh, pirate, come to rob we. Let's continue.
can have instances, and here's one which shows you that unless you're vigilant and keep monitoring the activities of these institutions, it's easy to slip back into that period. And that's one of the reasons. One of the reasons I think it's imperative that the forensic audits be published, so you can see what can happen if you are not eternally vigilant.
So you're calling for the audits to be also uploaded in the archive?
Yes, yeah, without doubt.
Boy.
Without doubt. And well, two things I'm calling for the explanation as to why it wasn't, because this was an integral part of the decision making.
Hold on. So when I say backfire upon the labor right them, me know that. You go dig up doctor. They go resurrect Mr. Omar Davies, because the man don't come out, you know. And as you hear the further down in the interview, Colin Bell even asked him why you are hide the people them. Realize say it's just a decent little man who no want no passa. When the man when Mr. Davis said there, you know long the labor at the man asked up him name out here. You know long man know they quiet. Everybody quiet now. Mr. Clark, who you protect, boss? Who is Mr. Clark protecting, guys? Somebody need to tell me. Who is Mr. Clark protecting? Let me go to the short break, gentle people. I'll be right back.
Trace the DNA of SSL for me. Can you?
Well, one of the biggest contributors to the financial meltdown was the Eagle Group. Yeah? SSL was formerly what we call Paul Chenyon and Company. That was the stockbroking arm of the Eagle Group. You with me? Yeah, the man who used to run SSL, Mr. Crofterry, he was the man who was running Paul Chenyon and Company, the stockbroking arm of the Eagle Group. So that's where it came from. They went down with 14 billion and change for the taxpayer.
That is in the Finsac era.
40 billion Finsac money that we're talking about. So then amount was $14 billion.
14 million.
Billion.
And if we equate that today to today's money,
that would be like 50 billion now.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Real money we're talking about, because back in the day, the dollar was better valued.
Yeah, man.
So the DNA of SSL come from down there, sir.
Yeah, man, from the Eagle Group.
The bloodline.
Yeah, man.
Welcome back, family. Let's continue with Dr. Omar Davies, exposed Dr. Nigel Clark on the Colin Bell Show on Portland Spice.
Unless you're eternally vigilant, it is not difficult to see. I don't say it's possible to have anything as widespread as that which happened last time, but you can have instances, and here's one which shows you that unless you're vigilant and keep monitoring the activities of these institutions, it's easy to slip back into that period. And that's one of the reasons. One of the reasons I think it's imperative that the forensic audits be published, so you can see what can happen if you are not eternally vigilant.
So you're calling for the audits to be also uploaded in the archive?
Yes, yeah, without doubt. And well, two things I'm calling for the explanation as to why it wasn't, because this was an integral part of the decision making. Those are so Without doubt, you have to call for that. But there has to be an explanation, an explicit statement. These are the reasons we didn't do this. So who are you protecting in that process?
Exactly. Because if you want people to get a full understanding, why do you really redact anything? But Dr. Davis, the question is, after spending about $160 million of taxpayers' money, what are your views on the fact that there was no report?
Well, to say I'm disappointed, before the origin.
We lost you a while ago, Dr. Davis. Just repeat.
No, I'm naturally very disappointed, but not surprised.
Why are you not surprised?
The whole thing was conceived of and implemented, this commission of inquiry, for straight political gains. The selection of the chairman himself, who was the courts removed, was a bad debtor.
A bad debtor to Jamaican banks.
Yes.
So the
chairman. We took it to court, you know.
I remember.
And then he what he allowed to happen. You had persons who had no involvement in the previous institution, no investments, no savings, who were allowed to cross-examine me, and he gave them free rein. So that you started off on that basis. Secondly, Finsac was not allowed. Finsac was not allowed legal representation.
No,
so people. No, it's I can't recall exactly.
But how does that work? How does that work? That Finsac didn't have legal representation at the inquiry?
Yes, and I wrote on behalf of with the authority of then Prime Minister Simpson Miller. I wrote to the then Prime Minister. Sorry, with the permission of my leader, I wrote to then Prime Minister Bruce Golding and pointed out to him that this is unacceptable. And to give him credit, he took action, and Finsac then was able to employ legal representation. Well, why is that important?
Yeah,
because a lot of the charges and claims which have been made went unchallenged, because someone in the crowd would get up and say, I had Z million in the bank and Finsac took it, and so, and there's nobody to say, give us more details or substantiate that claim. No, so there were enough examples which would tell you that sooner that there is no good which could come out of it. Even if you wanted a report which said the government was to be blamed, the structures did not allow for any thorough analysis to be carried out.
So it was just an exploration in futility.
No, not it. Depending on your objective, it was simply to try to get as much out there in the public domain, suggesting malice, forethought, etc. And that they succeeded in doing. But what struck me is that I do not believe that there was a clear sort of reporting system, such that when people said what exactly is happening, people have forgotten, that former Minister Hardishaw once announced to the House that he would be handing the report to the Governor General within and gave a time frame.
But if he did that, Dr. Davis, that means that there must have been some interim report that maybe he would have seen to say that.
Oh yeah, you need to ask him that rather than me. One of the things, I had deliberated because within our system, a commission of inquiry deserves to be treated in a particular way. And so I took a conscious decision not to do anything which would undermine that part of the institution. The reality is that all the rules which ensure that there's an organized system to carry out these activities, all of these were violated. I mean, I consider there are several things the way in which various persons were allowed to get up and cross-examine. Certainly in my case, that's one example. But I think even more important is that institutions, that the Finsac wasn't able to defend itself against charges.
Dr. Davis, hindsight, they say, is 2020. Knowing everything that you know now and the position you were in then, would you do it again? Or would you do it a different way? Finsac, or would you do it a different way?
The problem is about a different way. The fact is that these bad investments meant that the savings and other assets of a lot of people was gone. And the real question is, which is what the multilaterals said, that these are of a market economy. And so if they lose, they lose. The cabinet said that we couldn't do that, but to tell you the truth, we didn't know the full extent of the cost. So in a different setting, perhaps we should have offered to pay a percentage of your savings, etc., rather than full reimbursement.
So the government then reimbursed a lot of people money that they lost in the meltdown.
Not a lot, everybody.
What? But people don't talk about that, Dr. Davis.
But it's not because they accept that. In a sense, they just accept that there's nobody who had an account or had savings who was not reimbursed. But but I go further. Some of these depositors, you recall, we have been trying to strengthen the country's reputation in terms of the foreign exchange market, etc. And there were thousands of persons who had responded in the diaspora, who had responded and lodged their money in these accounts. And one of the questions which we couldn't answer in advance is, what would happen if these persons lost there? What would that do to the Jamaica's international reputation?
Dr. Davis, you mentioned that, and looking back at all of it, do you have any recollection of approximately how many persons got back their money that these banks made bad decision and lost the people's money?
Hundreds of thousands, because there was both deposits, investments, there's deposit investments, and we put insurance policies in the same thing. I mean, the only reason we're able to deal with mutual life and life of Jamaica was because we made good in terms of the assets of those institutions. So you're dealing now with other rough thing, put it at more than 500,000
people got back there who Finsac saved them, got back their money. But all we hear about these days is people committed suicide because they lost their houses, and we have never heard anybody talk about these people who got back their money because of what you and the administration then did.
Well, let me start by saying I regret there are some persons who you can't blame them who took their savings and placed it with entities. But and I regret those who had bad experiences. But at the same time, I'm not surprised that people haven't come forward. I kept a man will come to you around the corner and answer something. But in general, nobody's going to get up and do an interview or write a letter saying that.
They were saved.
Yeah.
Let me just, Dr. Davies, to all who are just joining, because people continue to join, we are talking to Dr. Omar Davies, former finance minister, the man who sets up the FSC, who set up the insurance,
deposit
insurance. Those are institutions that you put in place to protect Jamaicans investing in these banks after the meltdown.
Well, that's the only part of what we did,
Tell us some more of what you did.
We placed responsibilities on the auditors.
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment you see something wrong, because there are auditors who are signing off on actions which were just not kosher. So that the auditors were then given responsibility at the first sign of anything to bring this to the attention of the authorities. Board members were given additional responsibilities in that regard.
Yeah.
So when there's a talk about the robust supervisory system, all of that came out of the posts. Once we had dealt with the overall thing of settling depositors, etc. There was a whole lot of work which was done in that regard.
Dr. Davies, and I have seen a couple of people in the chat room pressing this issue that I'm going to ask you about now. SSL. Does SSL look like anything you saw back then?
I don't. Hold on.
We're talking to Dr. Omar Davies, former finance minister, and the man who...
Hello?
Yes, Dr. Davies, go ahead.
The truth is I know so little about SSL. I don't know who does. All I've heard, I've never seen any of the documentation, etc. But it's one of the. It looks worrying because some of the people who were in Finsac are back in that.
Hallelujah.
But what is important?
When you hear that? When you hear that? The man said some of the people who were in Finsac is back in SSL. I'll be right back.
I hear man talk all kind of lie. Oh, 20 million and 28 million. Lie. Me not take no salary increase. So my salary is what it was before. And I tell you something, I feel like just keep back to. Because he's a proud man, Me not like people tell lie for me.
That is why we did something like the reverse tax credit. Never before in Jamaica's history, where the government is giving back to people who earn less than $3 million per year. Never before happened. That's a way in which we are making sure that the dividends of the good economic management reaches to the people. Yes, good economic management can yam.
Thank you for your time, people. Let's get back to the interview.
Important though is that whatever the investigations show, these should be published.
You think the FSC failed to pick up SSL? I mean, you basically brought the FSC into being, and they should be overseeing things like this SSL organization. You think they failed to pick up?
Again, I can't comment beyond the point that there seems to be a question, and I can't go beyond the fact that there's a question as to whether, at what stage did the FSC inform the minister that there was something wrong.
Mm-hmm. And you're aware that the minister couldn't find the letter till him find it in a theme cabinet?
I'm not, all handled. You know as much as I do, and I've deliberately not tried to probe in this.
I'm not leaving Finsac yet, Dr. Davies, but one more question as it relates to now. The Prime Minister, in the report from the Integrity Commission, they spoke about a loan that the Prime Minister received from an entity, that the collaterals were not upfront and available at the time. Does that look like anything coming out of the 90s again?
Again, I don't know the details of what I've with the Prime Minister and the Integrity Commission. But in terms of people getting loans, etc., without being properly collateralized, that's familiar.
That's familiar. Let's go back now, Dr. Davies, down to Finsac. And you said a lot of people were saved by Finsac. Is it more?
You know where you must say, I say. A lot
of people were saved.
Whenever you hear about this 40% of GDP, that's what those funds were used for.
To save people. The question I want to ask you though, were more people benefit than those who were burnt?
Yes, but I wouldn't say I have never done the comparison in terms of actual value for money, but in terms of how much money. But yes, by far.
By far.
Because think of it, that every depositor in all those banks, NCB, wherever, everyone got back their money. Every life insurance policy holder
got back their money.
That policy was protected. Every pensioner whose funds were being managed by several of them life insurance firms managed their funds. Everyone got back their money.
Dr. Davies, is there anybody sitting in the Jamaican Parliament right now that was bailed out by Finsac?
Well, I can't give you.
I'm not asking you for a name.
Let me tell you something. I have separated what I knew as a minister as opposed to what Omar Davies knows. And I don't want to answer that, but as I can tell you is that there are persons who are sat in Parliament who in a sense, have been involved in that meltdown.
Why are you trying to protect people, Dr. Davis, who is trying to tear your reputation? They are trying to tear your reputation apart, trying to trample upon you.
They have worked hard at it. They have worked hard at it.
So you continue to protect them?
Because all you got to do is continue the same back to and fro. I mean, people just speak about my predecessor. He's just one. There are other persons who or in there is another former minister and MP who was part owner of a bank, which also had to be rescued.
Dr. Davis, you're a decent man.
Well, thank you.
Because some people throw them under the bus long time. And I have listened to you over the years trying to protect these people.
What is painful is that there are persons who know better, who have contributed through their silence to this to this whole confusion.
What did Finsac cost Jamaica economically, Dr. Davis?
It's very hard to give a precise number on that, but and one of the dangers is that if you do that precise number, what you should also remember is what would have happened to Jamaica if all those savings, etc., had been wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the analysis which has to be done.
When you left as finance minister, Dr. Davis, what position was the Jamaican economy in?
Well, you know what is amazing is that the foreign exchange market was stable. The inflation was like about 5%. There were all set of positives. And one of the ironies is that the multilateral praised our handling of the financial sector problem, crisis.
But this present Prime Minister is saying that you, the most honorable PJ partisan, destroyed the Jamaican economy in the 90s.
Yes. So I assume that the population will understand his desperation in trying to regurgitate that, because he knows it's not true. And many of the perpetrators are people who are strong supporters of his party.
Mm-hmm. You brought the FSC in place after finding out the whole issue of the meltdown. Tell my listeners and viewers, what were the FSC put in place to do directly? What were some of their responsibilities?
Well, in a sense, the FSC was established to do for non-deposit taking institutions what the Bank of Jamaica was doing for deposit taking institutions. And so there was a separation of the activities. Because one of the problems which limited the Bank of Jamaica's ability to carry out its supervisory activities was the extent to which, if you had a group of companies, you could move funds around or appearance of moving funds around. Sometimes there are no real funds. And so the FSO, by segmenting and differentiating deposit-taking institutions from those which were managing investments, etc., you provided a greater concentration of effort on a specific problem. One of the things which I I've not studied it long enough, but I don't know if it's a good idea, is to give all of this, put all of this under one institution, like the Bank of Jamaica. Because if there's a problem with FSC, that's not necessarily the best solution.
One of the things the GLP criticized the then administration is that economies around the world then were growing at 4 and 5%, while Jamaica was only growing 1% and 2%. Was that true?
Well, let us not pursue the argument. Like, what is different now? What is different now in terms of growth?
Well, no, we're growing now by 0.8%.
Yeah, but that's what is it? The other thing is, when they speak about this high interest rates, there are similar financial sector challenges in countries with low interest. In Japan and in Europe, there are similar situations. So if people are crooked, on how to do harm, they will do it regardless of the situation. I'm not defending the sustained high interest rate, but I'm just telling you that to try to blame the 2 points. One is that there are instances of similar situations in low interest rate economies. And secondly, and I urge people to do this because the credit unions have made that point to me repeatedly. How come we didn't have any of those problems? And one of the reasons is that the decision making and the supervision of like the credit union movement is totally democratic, in that the annual general meeting, people actually take part in it and have a say. That was not so with the private institutions, in particular those which had executive chairman.
Dr. Davies,
I soon have to go though.
Yeah, man, I'm wrapping up now. But when we talk about the 90s, one of the great things that I think happened, and I don't hear people giving you any credit for it, are the most honorable PJ Patterson, the fact that we left the IMF. How significant was that?
Well, it was significant for several reasons. It showed that we could design our own program. And you're asking about what's happened in terms of the economy prior to my departure. In that we demonstrated that it was possible to achieve objectives jointly agreed with the IMF without seeking to borrow from them. It was a very significant achievement at that stage. Unfortunately, the momentum which we had generated was not maintained, and very soon we had to return to the IMF.
Was that a mistake returning? Was it a mistake returning to the IMF?
Well, that was a result of what had happened. But unless you would have to take on these changes or continue the tight management which we had instituted, which allowed us to leave.
Finally, Dr. Davies, when the GLP won in 2007, we knew then that Arnold Shaw was going to take us back to the IMF. They did, and the economy went into a tailspin crash. Nobody really speaks about that era either. They don't speak about the Portia Simpson Miller era, and they don't speak about the Bruce Golding era. But going forward, Dr. Davies, as a former finance minister, what advice would you want to give to this finance minister and any future finance minister coming, how to really carry on the Jamaican economy for betterment for the people?
Well, I don't know who is the present finance minister. So I won't then offer advice to an unknown.
Or to whoever coming, because it is for Jamaica, not really for the finance minister.
Well, there are clear guidelines. It's not it's tough, but it's not rocket science.
Mm.
And I think there's some agreement which of what are the steps which need to be taken.
Yes.
One critical point I'll make though is that we have the corruption can be a major factor which damages anything, and the extent to which the economy is dominated by corrupt practices that then undermines confidence in an economy.
I did say finally, but finally, you seeing Bolt and that money that he has lost.
I know. The truth is, I don't know.
No, man. I don't want to ask you about SSL. I'm just asking you about the impact that it would have on Jamaica's reputation, that a global name has lost his money and it has not been returned. You think that?
Well, a very short answer. It obviously can't do us any good. Because you don't have to have the amounts which you saying had. It can't do us any good.
So, like Finsac, do you believe that the country should find a way to return these people money? Like you
when our Minister of Finance are dealing with those things, and I don't want that is not something I'm going to offer an opinion on.
Dr. Omar Davies, former Minister of Finance, in my opinion, the best finance minister Jamaica has ever seen. Is there anything you want to say to my listeners and viewers before you go?
Well, I've been heartened by the response. It's really tragic that what came out of the Commission of Inquiry obviously demonstrates that either there was a report which has been withheld, or that they didn't find. If they found any if there are any adverse findings, it would have been lauded about.
And unlike you trying to protect them, if there was something to make you look bad, they would have dashed it out.
That's one thing you know. That's one thing you know.
And I still ask, why are you protecting these people, Dr. Davies?
That's for another discussion.
My brother, my comrade, I thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and may the good Lord continue to bless and keep you and make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Thanks for your service, Dr. Davies.
Thank you too.
Blessings.
So, what do you think about that, peeps? Dr. Omar Davies. Them old school geezer there. You can't find them no more, No. Them old school man, them act with more decorum than some politician we have in the office. So some other politician that dash them out there. But me not understand what Dr. Omar Davies are. Him too decent to come out and tell we are who. And them a dash him name, and years them a dash him name, and him just sit down so with the information. Did you get any money for stay quiet, Mr. Omar Davies? Because I don't trust politicians still, Did Mr. Davies get any money? Want to believe people. Me don't like to ask him, Because some bloggers ask different questions. Mr. Bell was on radio. And him for them show also. Portland Spice TV. Check out the man, people. Support him too. You see me? Yeah, man. But why Mr. Omar Davies is so tight-lipped? Years in gone hide, somewhere. Him hear him a call. Them a beat him. And the man stay quiet. Them accused right now, his reputation is tarnished, people, over the years. Allow me to tell people, comment section. You don't think so, Mr. Omar Davies' reputation is tarnished? Well, until him come out, come give them interview, yeah. But then, even for those of us who know, remember the Finsac era, because all we hear about Omar Davies, Omar Davies, Omar Davies. Omar Davies is armed with information, with the buckle boom. Him armed with the grenade, rocket launcher. Him armed with all of them weapons there, you know. And him sit down there play sweet boy. That's it. The brother ask him, why are you protecting him? Asked him several times, why are you protecting these guys? So my question is, because since bloggers never there around them time if ask few question, we ask question different. Yeah? We want to know if Mr. Omar Davies get money if he stay quiet. Whether by the labor right or the PNP. Labor can't give money if make it stay quiet, you know. Me no say them do it. But how can it be so damn decent that you hear your reputation, your character where or something you build for years, you know, and something you just pick up a roadside and go home, go make up for your character you have and add money. No, man, it take a lifetime to build character and integrity. And the people, it has been years, not but lick him again. No, the so-called report come out and the man now dash no fire. Jaja. That brother should write a book already. A tell-all book. Not even a book the man sit down and write and expose the damn stuff. Well, Mr. Omar Davies, I'm glad when you come out come say. But we still not hear from you. You're old man now, you're out of office. You're going to take the information to your grave, old boy. No, seriously. I appreciate the work you do. But are you going to take all of this information to your grave? Look on the good people. Why else you have to lose, bro? You're going to take the information to your grave? Nah, man. Stop playing around, man. Someone, me not understand. Me can't see no reason why you are save up them information here. Why you are Nigel Clark same way. You are protect too. You are protect just like Nigel Clark. Him a finance minister, you are finance minister, on sittings. Mr. Clark, I do the you know much different, Mr. B. Because you know tell the report come out that you know tell what go on. And anyhow, it was the labor them have your information, have your file. Them train in the raw fire and throw lagwood pan top of you. Me not just politician and people. Like I said, thanks Mr. Omar Davies for his service. But me have a country to fight for. Not to make politician and rich boy feel happy. And massage your ego. Not on this platform. Me look on stuff different. Because I hear the calling bell ask him over and over, several times, maybe 2 or 3 times, why are you protecting these people? If it was the other way around, they would throw you under the bus. Why you know do something more? Why not be more aggressive? Years them a tear you down out here. You get the chance now to say something. You still a swallow your spit. I mean, hear you talk. Yes, you talk. You give interview, but you give interview not like Omar Davies. You give interview like a politician. You miss, you skip, you count your word, them and you add them up 1, 2, 3, you make this and people. Allow me to tell. Remember, me have the right for talk, you know. Omar Davies give the interview, but him and all them backside there. They don't come in and tell you what go on people. Okay, can't trust none of them in the people. Remember upon this platform, I tell you, say, me not just politician, you know. Me not care who. Until you go in and start lock up on a friend. Anytime you start lock up on a friend, then me and a friend. Right? But when I see man like Nigel Clark, look for Nigel Clark, look what him do. What up a reduction, hiding, like covering up for somebody. Cause them boy see something. Nigel Clark see some things. But what we get from him? A war redacted, jumbled up. What is that? We don't understand that. We don't understand when Nigel Clark put out a pure crab tour we get. And we don't get no substance. Name redacted. So tell me now, may I ask a question? What is the difference between Nigel Clark and Omar Davies? La 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 la. May I wait, man? Same politician, all of them, man. You know, him now give the rest of the story, man. Even the enemy, them, he now fling the man at the bus. So I want them pay him. Me can ask the question, you know, people. Me about right to ask question, you know, I don't. I want to get money from back in the day. Say, you, me I pay this, or never you, ever. Go what's your thing. Me no business be dead and gone. Me no want bring no embarrassment to my grandparents, them, you know. Take that piece of food and those, you know, people. Why, Mr. Omar Davies? Hop and a skip and a hum and a ha and a people, me know, listen me, man. The months after all these years, the man is not a politician no more, but the man a hum and a ha and a who. I mean, look at people, no know people talk. I me alone see it, people. Me say if I me alone see it. Talk to me in the comment section. I'll be back shortly.
We're in strange times in Jamaica. We're living in strange times. Strange times because interesting behavior is rewarded. So, for example, if you're a police officer and you have ambition and you want to turn a senior superintendent of police, you think those who out there are face down bad man, the dog-hearted gunman, the man criminal, they would be rewarded with promotion. You think it's those who are investigating crime, putting tight cases together and putting criminals behind bars would be rewarded. But it seems the fastest way to turn SSP is to work with a friendly media host for a few years, get transferred to the GSCF, and you're catapulted from district constable to senior superintendent in a couple of years.
Gentle people, tell me what you think about the interview. Me already tell you how I feel already. Yeah. Me listen to interview. You know, him not sharing information. Same politics from back in the days. Him should have write a book. You know, but like I said, them old school geezer are different. You know, if I them are politician we have, them aggressive orangutan what we have here now, like a hell out a road there. But the man not even show another the man that the boss. Remember the man could have do it, you know. Colin Bella asked him why. You know? Come on. Nah, man. The whole of them cannot be trusted, landlocked. Me not trust Omar Davies either. Nah, sir. Him a hum and a ham and a ha. Me not learn much from him in the thing. Me no, him just talk. Me hear, you know, him just talk. We should have hear more in depth. Him still a save man based on what him a say. Me hear him, man. I respect the fact that him come out, but Omar Davies still a hum and a ha. In argument, it was very stitched up and very carefully. Every line kind of sound like a Obama. Every line was like, you know, and then now go over no line and now answer a certain question. You understand protocol and them thing there, but come on, man. After all these goddamn years, write a book or some shit. Give you a tell-all book. Give you something, bro. Yeah. He might hold back enough. But me ask what the difference between him and Nigel Clark. So Nigel Clark hold back the report there. He might hold back and a save and a back and a hold back name. That means he have man who protect. Same thing Omar there. So hold back him have man who protect. You don't know what going on so. I hope one day we get them named the unredacted and cleared so we can see them and learn some more about one, because if we're going to learn, we need to learn the truth, you know. And I hope Omar Davies, I hope him write a book, a tell-all book, especially know that the report, Nigel fling it out. I hope Omar Davies write a book So, you know, so we can learn. Yeah, man, the next generation can really, really learn because there is a lot of things in the answer. Like they better ask him what him not do different, something like that. Him not answer that. He dance around it, people. Remember politician we are dealing with, you know? And your brother, and we family member. And even them sometimes cannot be trusted. The man did not answer some of the question, family. They hear it. But, you know, him give us some insight on some things. But I thought we'd have go much farther. Well, like when I make him rounds around social media, right? And media, and, you know, and media. Because we don't see him. A long time we don't see him, you know. So him come from on and wet banana trash. So I make him round on social media. So maybe another person might ask him another question, I might hear something, another piece of information drop out. But I would like Mr. Omar Davies, write a book, brother. Write it. You do a lot of work out here for the country. Yeah? Write a book. Make you know about the crooks them. Tell me about them. Yeah? Tell about them so we can learn about them. The pitfalls. Tell about them, bro. But they also told us that people from Finsac are involved in SSL. But that is not new because Mr. Hyman told us that before. So a lot of this stuff where you hear him talk about, we hear them already. And that may I tell you guys, a lot of the stuff that you hear Mr. Omar Davies talked about, I am totally aware of them already. We have them already. We have them already. So we never hear too much because the man a hum and a ha. And that may I tell you no. Like a politician same way. So anyway, thanks. And I like to tell people. Yeah, man. No, but I say it share in my hold back for Lackland. Even if asking why are you? Even if I know me alone find out, you know. So if I'm me alone, they say me, I say, boy, I lick my head. But even if brother asks him, why are you protecting? Him still not answer the question, humana. People, let me tell you the man. People, you know, say, me don't know if the other blogger see it though. Yeah, man, the man he not answer the question, them people. Nah, man, he not answer the question, man. Mr. Bella asked him solid question. They better dance around it. And some question answers are redacted, just like Nigel Clark. Some question the man answer it. He said, no, man. You know, answer it. He kind of remind me of, you know, remind me of Andrew Honest Liar. Yeah, man, when Zara Burton asked him some question, and man run away and died. I swear to God. You understand, say different, but it remind me of that when I listen to the man. Me say, you the man a duck and a dodge, and I want some answers. So answer the question, bro. Answer the question. So, not only Nigel Clark, who Nigel Clark can protect, who Mr. Davies can protect. That's the question of the answer, you know. Oh, I don't like it. Who Mr. Davies can protect. Beautiful people. But you know, me not easy for politicians, me hard for them. No, sir, me hard for them. Nigel Clark, I know enough to, you know. He might hide. Yeah, man. The one of them hide from big man. Because you hear Mr. Omar Davies say, when the brother asks some question, but you know, or them get if someone shouldn't get brought up, you know, to books. He said some of these men are CEOs and they got money and the amount of money to hire the best lawyer. And, you know, big man, too big for the police to handle them because they have money and can get a good lawyer. They will never see justice served to them. So me listen to politician talk. Yeah, man, I'm glad for him because long time I don't see him, you know. And I years them I beat him. And I when the report dash out them where I see him pop up back on a surface back. All these years and you come out here, my brother, and you're not giving up argument. Me gonna be the probably first blogger to tell you that me not hear nothing from you, brother. When me hear from you, I want me hear already. I want to short information, Mr. Davies. Thank you for your service, my brother. But we're not short of information, so the little information you get, we got that already. We need something different, something else. Call me something else. Give me something more we don't know. That's what we want, Mr. Davies. That's all we want. But write a book, do something. If you don't decide to show your friend the man at the bus. We're not idiots, you know, so they're nice to each other. Nice to each other. And some of them know better than that. You sound nice to each other. We're not fool. Me, I wonder if you get pee if you not talk. Ah, boy. Guys, me love you know. I just say, me know someone I say, Carlos, left a man. Sure. Every day you get up on her. But, hey, me not obey man, you know, but me can't say things. Me love the people. Thank you so much for watching this video. Nigel Clark, I cover up, you know, big old cover up artist, you know. Aye. Thank you guys so much for being here. Talk to you guys later.
Trace the DNA of SSL for me. Can you?
Well, one of the biggest contributors to the financial meltdown was the Eagle Group. Yeah? SSL was formerly what we call Paul Cheney and Company. That was the stockbroking arm of the Eagle Group. You with me? Yeah, the man who used to run SSL, Mr. Crofterry, he was the man who was running Paul Cheney and Company, the stockbroking arm of the Eagle Group. So that's where it came from. They went down with 14 billion and change for the taxpayer.
That is in the Finsac era.
40 billion Finsac money that we're talking about. They to them amount was $14 billion.
14 million.
Billion.
And if we equate that today to today's money,
that would be like 50 billion now.
Oh, hallelujah.
Yeah.
Real money we're talking about because back in the day, the dollar was better valued.
Yeah, man.
So the DNA of SSL come from down there, sir.
Yeah, man, from the Eagle Group.
The bloodline.
Yeah, man.
Corruption is a vile disease that sucks and drains the health out of something good. Corruption in society is an evil moral infection that keeps community in the state of perpetual sickness. Corruption is a moral virus. It's so potent it leaves its host sick, lethargic, and unable to realize and accomplish all that a well person can. Where corruption thrives, poverty and not prosperity thrives. Wealth is grabbed into the greedy, grubby hands of those who get fat on the toil and labor of good people. Corruption benefits, only temporarily, those who participate in it. Everyone else is a victim of the theft, the deceit, the dishonesty, and the lies that corruption feeds on. You need to know that a corrupt person is stealing from you. Corruption is filthy work and despicable acts of treachery done under the table and behind closed doors. Corruption is a disgusting shame. Corruption keeps a nation back from true development and from progress. Wise investors steer clear of a corrupt environment. They would rather put their resources into a place where the playing field of opportunity is equal for all and not bent towards feeding the financial lust of corrupt, lying, cheating, thieving politicians and government officials. How many wonderful development projects have been lost because the investors didn't want to do business in a swamp of evil? When those great projects go to another nation or to some other place, we all lose. Believe me when I tell you that corruption steals from you, it steals from all of us. Corruption plunders the nation's wealth. Corrupt people compromise on truth, equity, and fairness, choosing instead to feed off the short-term benefits of crookedness, exploitation, and financial perversion. Corruption is not just a personal matter. It's a culture. It's a way of life, not just for individual people, but for companies, communities, governments, and nations. Corrupt nations, hiding behind large companies, will seek to invest in other weak nations in order to take over the assets of the nation that they've invested into. They will provide financial loans to a nation for the much needed infrastructure, and they will do it with assets that they provide. They will sign contracts by lining the pockets of rotten government officials who participate in this kind of corruption and are then held hostage by their own deceit and greed. Corruption is nothing less than a form of theft and national robbery. A corrupt person steals from everyone in society.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame. What a travesty. Calls for us to think and think deep.